and good evening, good afternoon. It's actually almost evening. It's getting darker earlier every moment, every day rather. My name is Barry Selby. This is Messages from the Masculine, and maybe a bit more somber and certainly deeper than my usual ones. So before I jump in, let me give you my formal introduction, and then I'll get to the heart of the matter. No pun intended. It's truly about what I want to speak about tonight. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert. I do help strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. And I'm also a passionate champion for the divine feminine, which is why I'm speaking about this today. If you're like me on social media, you've seen a lot of posts with the metoo hashtag. And I started seeing them yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think I started seeing them more than the other day, and then today as well. And frankly, it's been devastating to discover so many of my friends, and in my newsfeed is my friends, posting the hashtag, the metoo hashtag, which is basically owning up to their own experience of abuse, hurt, rape, suffering at the hands of somebody else. And 99% of the time it's going to be from men. And I want to speak to that. And what's in the back of my mind, I feel like I want to offer some sort of support, healing, something. I'm not sure what yet. I'll let it unfold. Yeah, Bonnie, thank you. It's... I don't have words, to be honest. It's so heartbreaking for me to know so many women, so many friends of mine have been hurt badly, emotionally, physically, mentally, all of those things, usually by men, usually by relatives, that it's I don't know what to say. I mean, I was reviewing my own history and going, well, I didn't do that. I mean, yeah. Do I sexualize women when I see them? Sometimes, yes. What do I want to do something about it? No. Wow, 6 times, Bonnie. Yeah. I don't have words. I don't have an answer. It's not something I can't go, I can fix that. Because that's the frustration in a way, I guess. It's part of me wants to go, I have a solution, I can fix it for you. And I don't know if I have one, to be honest, and to be truthful about it. And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, it was first on Facebook Live, so I'm responding to comments in the display on Facebook Live. You won't see them on YouTube. But what I do want to offer is some possible, I mean, for those who haven't yet resolved and healed this, I want to offer at least some sort of counsel, support, offering, knowing that what I'm actually saying may not have any value whatsoever. I know that what I'm saying is just out of my own heart wanting to support and perhaps paint a different picture of what a man can be about from what some of these women have experienced. So this doesn't have a plan, I don't have a script or anything, but I want to speak to, first of all, I don't know what I want to speak to. I mean, this is something that is very much in the news right now. I mean, I was looking online, I don't have any numbers, but it's all over the world. In fact, there are millions of posts on social media, on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and everything else. Thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate you seeing me that way. And yeah, I mean, I am thinking about this a lot. And you know, I know from working with my clients and friends that I've been around, where I hear suddenly in the intimacy of conversation that they were sexually abused when they were 10, or they were raped as a teenager, or something else happened. And I want to literally one reason I want to hold them in my arms and just hug the pain away, but that's not my job, maybe. But I feel this desire to do something. So what I want to get to, and I'll get to it in a moment, is I want to offer, and it's not going to be necessarily a meditation, but some thoughts, some statements that in a male voice may be assistance to you. That's what's been coming up all day. I want to say something. But before I do that, I want to speak more to the paradigm. Ladies, it was never, and it's not your fault. There's stuff in the news about how, you know, women should dress differently. No. Men should act differently. That's the truth. There was, I saw an article about what Saturday Night Live did as a takedown of Harvey Weinstein, since that's what triggered the whole thing. I think Alyssa Milano is the one that started the hashtag #MeToo, about how he was going to go for treatment. And one of the comments was, yes, the treatment should involve a jail cell, because it's not an aberration. It's a behavior that is heinous. The disrespect, the way of treating women is not appropriate. And yes, Bonnie, as you said, yeah, the scariest thing is not feeling safe coming forward. That's another part of the problem. This misogynistic society, Yes, it is mostly masculine driven. It's a painful experience in a way. It's like growing up as a man in this environment and not being able to, and I can be painted with the same brush, because women have been so hurt by other men, they can see all men that way, and that is obviously it's not accurate, but that feeling. Of course, the same thing work on my side. I look at women and seeing, I can expect every one of them to be hurt, because frankly, so many of my friends, so many of my female friends, have voiced that they've been hurt in the past. That is almost like, does that mean every woman I see has been through that? And I've seen some women come forward and say they haven't been, but it's been few in number. So there's a lot more to this conversation that I can put in a Facebook Live. But again, I want to speak to some suggestions, some support, some ideas. I may be put together a guided meditation even. I'm thinking about something that's going to be done. I can add to this. Thank you, Laurie. You were one of the people I saw the post from. Yes, there are women who, like you, happen to escape any overt misogyny. From what I've seen in my newsfeed, that's rare. Based on the number of women I've seen put #MeToo in their comments. It's incredible. And Bonnet, you're being blacklisted or not believed or having to defend a lawsuit. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Being judged as guilty or being judged as wrong before you have a chance to speak up for yourself. I've been in that experience before myself, where I've been basically in a place where I didn't have a freedom to voice my defense, and I felt like I was always in the defense mode. Not in the same extreme, of course, but being in LA, because being in Los Angeles, well, the Hollywood arena, that is a predominantly heinous behavior that happened in the Hollywood scene. I mean, it's what happened. And the fact that there's such an argument now about, well, you should have come forward sooner. They should have done something with the previous people who did this many years ago. It's like, well, I guess the blessing and the curse of what's happening right now with the guy on top, number 45, is that his behavior has started to maybe mirror back to see what's happening in society, where those people who did do that, like Roger Ailes and the 2 or 3 other men who work at Fox News, Trump himself, Harvey Weinstein, who are the visible public figures who've done this, Bill Cosby, I mean, there's so many of them, that, well, Bonnie, you say coming forward is not easy at a time. I agree with you. One, because the truth is you've been violated. And when you've been violated, it's hard to stand up strong and be comfortable to say the truth, because you don't feel safe, and I can feel that. At the same time, I believe, one, in some cases right now, is perhaps the best time to come forward because it is on the table. The second part, though, which is the other side of it, is some of us men who, especially those of us who haven't been of that behavior, could be painted with the same brush. So there's no easy answer to this right now. Yeah, and I'm Bonnie, I'm sorry. I mean, I can say I'm sorry, even though it wasn't me perpetrating it, but I can feel the pain, which is why I want to speak to this. So I want to get to a solution. It's not a real solution necessarily, but it's something I want to speak to, just as something to say to you, ladies who are watching it now in the replay, that may be able to assist you. It's not an answer, it's not a solution, it's not to excuse anything or any of the behavior. However, for some of you ladies out there watching, I know that you've been carrying a wound around for so long that your ability to love yourself has been diminished or even suppressed because somehow you've turned it on yourself. So the first thing I want to say to you very clearly is, and I said it before, is that it was not your fault. It is not your fault. You're not responsible for anything that happened. Yes, in the spiritual realm of accountability, you can say, well, I was responsible for everything that happened. No. The only responsibility you have is how you treat yourself and how you respond afterwards. What happened has happened. And from the depths of my heart, it's not your fault. It is your responsibility to change, to focus on loving yourself, especially if you still feel wounded or feel hurt from that. Now, yes, I like to think there's karma, so the person who perpetrated this, whether it was a relative or a boss or somebody else, will get their comeuppance at some point. It may not be your responsibility to make that happen. Your responsibility lies in taking care of yourself. Your focus of attention is on loving yourself. I've said on so many times in broadcasts and on interviews and on summits that one of my favorite assignments to give my clients is to spend 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. If you're somebody who's had reason to put up the hashtag #MeToo, especially if that's been one of the things you've done, I'd like to offer that as a reminder that even now, you may have come 20, 30 years after that. Yes, this is the thing, Bonnie. You just learn after years of experience to move on, of course, until the next time it happens. That's the thing. I would like to think, and I could be wrong, but I'd like to think if you focus on supporting and loving yourself, healing those wounds, healing that hurt, it may reduce the opportunity for it to happen again. There's a thing I've learned over the years, how we take on patterns that will keep running automatically if we don't heal them. And I'd hate to say this is a pattern, because that sounds terrible to say it. But if you have this sense that it can happen again in your radar, then it's possible it could happen again. So, as I said, even the 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. Yeah. Even the 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening of self-love, self-support, telling yourself you appreciate who you are, you love yourself, to start healing the pain inside, start healing the broken heart, start healing the wounds you've been carrying emotionally for the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, will start to have a change. So it will start to have an impact on the way you treat yourself, and it will have a change on how you live your life. Bonnie, I'm glad you did heal those things. Yes. And I'd like to think that all of those people, all those women who on in my newsfeed, because that's where I saw it, who put hashtag #MeToo, either are or have done the work to make peace with their past, to heal themselves, to be willing to let go of that bastard who did something and focus on loving yourself. Because they say, the best revenge is living a good life. Well, the truth is, frankly, that if you can put your focus on yourself and your own loving and self-love, self-support first, then you may not be as attached to the person who impacted you in the first place. Oh yeah, Bonnie, you told me about that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I've been through a lot of programs that help with that too. My master's program at University of Santa Monica is one of the things I recommend highly to anybody who wants to go deep in their own self-healing journey. But there are many programs out there, and that's one of them. That's good to know. Also, Hoffman's another one I know that does work in this area too. But again, even if you don't do that, even before you do that, anywhere along the road, you can start loving yourself more. That you can do anytime, any point, and by doing so, you can start healing and unkinking the pains inside. I'm trying to think of one of my teachers, David Ada, talks about this. Actually, no, he talks about the kinks and I think it's the kinks is what he uses in his terminology. But it's these things that we have in our physiology and our psychology from the pain we've learned in the past. And it can still run in our lives, even though we can still have a sex life and have other things going on. But it can get in the way of our full expression of being, our full expression of loving, our full expression of being whole. So even that simple practice I recommend, the 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening of self-love practice in the mirror, can be a more powerful healing agent than anything else, especially if you haven't done any healing work yet. So the support I want to offer, because that's what I really want to talk about, because since I can't fix what happened, that's not my job and it's not my scope, is to invite you to spend time loving yourself, to put your heart before your mind's judgment of something that happened. Actually sounded pretty good. Yeah, put your heart's health, your heart's wholeness ahead of the judgment, the self-recrimination, the guilt you're carrying about what happened in the past. Because as I said before a couple of times now, whatever happened was not your fault. It is not your responsibility. It is not your cross to bear. You deserve a whole, healthy life, and whatever they did, Bonnie, I love that. Yes, you love yourself. Absolutely. See, that's part of the healing. And it's the thing about, can you do that even in the crunchy places inside? Because that's the journey for a lot of us to be on, is can we love ourselves even when things aren't going perfectly? Can we love ourselves when we feel left out? Can we love ourselves when we feel hurt, wounded, put down by somebody? The answer is yes. Yes, thank you. Exactly. You said the word right out of my mouth. Yes, you can. But do you remember to? So this is my reminder to you that whatever's come before, whatever you may have gone through, if the reminders just come up, if after seeing these Me Too posts, you've been remembering your history, which you've forgotten about for the last 20 years, you can still love yourself now. In fact, I recommend it highly, is to focus on loving yourself, being loving to yourself, because you deserve it. Whatever they did that had you suffer and be hurt has no justification over you, has no control over you, and it does not, on any way, shape or form, govern your life. So don't let it. You deserve the best. In love, in business, in life, in every area. Yeah, I guess I'm being a cheerleader. So that is really what I wanted to speak to, just to get that on the table and talk about it tonight. It's been on my mind. I said it's been heartbreaking and devastating to see all my friends posting metoo as a hashtag, because they've been through that on different levels, different ways, shapes, or forms. And some people, some women, I haven't seen many men posting, and men have been through things too. I went through something of a sort like that when I was younger, but nothing like what some of the women I've talked to have been through. But seeing the range of descriptions and comments and things that have been posted, you know, it's like I almost wish I had. I mean, this part of me wants to be like the vengeful warrior that will go out and decimate those people who hurt you because they didn't, you know, they have no right to do so. But that's a fantasy. But what it can do is help you remember to love yourself. It seems like a lot of my coaching work with my clients, and I've been talking about it recently with my coach, a lot of my work I'm doing with my clients is helping them love themselves, and this is part of that. As in the sense that when you have wounds, and you have pain, and you have hurt and suffering that you carry inside, because you were hurt when you were younger, it doesn't need to stop you loving yourself. In fact, if you're carrying those wounds, those pains, those hurt from the past, it's an even more, even a greater reason to focus on loving yourself. Because by loving yourself, by really intentionally taking care of yourself and appreciating who you are, those wounds can heal. Yes, with therapy, with coaching, with counseling, even what I do with my clients, you can get back to the point where you can heal those childhood wounds, or maybe not so young if they happened in more recent years. But you can still come back to loving yourself first. And when you do focus on loving yourself, when you do focus on doing that, hang on, let me read your thought before I finish my thought. What's difficult now is deciding to speak up now, or are there more productive ways to deal with it? I'm not a legal person in this sense, but if you have a question about speaking up about this happened because somebody else is still doing that behavior, if your act of speaking up will save some other woman from suffering from that person's behavior, it may be worth speaking up. That's from a point of view, just from a point of view of being responsible and also being an adult. But if it's somebody who's not doing that anymore, or you have no connection to them anymore, and you feel like it's more important for you to take care of yourself, then focus on yourself. Again, your greatest success or your greatest revenge is to live a healthy, happy life. So, yeah, if he's 80 years old, I don't know if he's still doing it. Although I could be wrong. I mean, there are 80-year-olds who do strange things. So, but I would say definitely focus on loving yourself, because it's not about them ultimately. As much as they impacted your life, the more focus you put on them, the more power you give them. So I'm saying this to say that when you focus on yourself, they fade out of your control, out of your consciousness. So self-love, again, self-support, self-love, self-appreciation are things I recommend highly, especially if you've been through abusive environments, abusive situations, or been demeaned, put down, whatever, by any man. Your self-love, self-support, and self-confidence is what brings you back to your heart, or brings back to your wholeness, and basically takes away their power that they still think, that you may still think they have. It's truthfully a lot of this abuse, a lot of this stuff that happened from the men who did things to the women, whether it was, say, if it was family or if it was business, as in parents, I mean fathers or grandfathers or uncles or older brothers or bosses. A large part of the times it happened, it was about power and control. It wasn't out of love. No, certainly wasn't. It wasn't out of appreciation. It was about domination. So the more you can love yourself, the more you can support yourself, and the more you take care of yourself, the less easy it is for someone to dominate you. So Bonnie, you're saying you don't focus on that. It's all over the news these days. I want to find justice. Yes, I do too, in a way. And it's kind of what this is part of my talk is adding to the conversation of constructive solutions. Because fighting injustice, a large way of fighting justice, is to have solutions. Because to fight pain with pain isn't always a solution. I'm not saying you should bless and forgive, but the reality is it's kind of like, going to war on war doesn't always work. But to take care of yourself, to honor yourself, respect yourself, and love yourself, again, I'm going to keep coming back to these points because so many people don't know they're not doing this. By doing that, by loving yourself, appreciating yourself, you will heal the wounds that have been inside. It's like you'll take the kinks out of the wiring inside. You can have that by simply loving yourself. So if you want to go deeper, you know where to find me. For just a quick recap, I've just been going on this for a while. We're going to just summarize. 5 minutes morning, 5 minutes in the evening. Look in the mirror. Love yourself. Appreciate yourself. Respect yourself. So here, Bonnie's saying people come together to stand up against injustice. Yes, I agree with you. But I would say people come together to stand up for justice. Let's be proactive, not against. Let's stand up for justice. That I can work with. That was a part in my head that wasn't coming clear. It's not against injustice. Let's focus on being for justice, for honor, for respect, and for dignified behavior to each other. So that we men, more of us can remember to be gentlemen. Because that's the biggest part of this too. Gentlemen don't do shit like that, to be blunt. That's a machismo, power control, domination thing, as I said before. I believe that, I'd love to teach a course on gentlemanly conduct, but there's steps before that, which is to get men out of the bad habits they get into, this misogynistic control bullshit game they've been playing for the last 50 years. So, yeah. Okay, so if you just joined my broadcast, please watch from the beginning. I went in kind of deep and up and down a few times, so this will hopefully be of value to you. It's funny because I've been wearing this now for about 2 months, and I've been sharing about different broadcasts. For those who don't know, this is a reminder and a conversation starter about sexual abuse. Because the marker is 1 in 5 children are sexually abused by the time they're 10. Although I've actually heard now the numbers have changed, and it's actually 1 in 4 boys, I think it's 2 in 5 girls. So this story, the metoo stuff, has roots in a lot of what's been happening in society. So my intention is, by being part of the solution, is helping you remember to love yourself, because whatever happened before should not, does not, and doesn't deserve to stop you going where you want to go. You deserve the best. And I'm here to support you with that. So these Facebook Lives I do every day are part of my intention to inspire you and raise you up, as it were. This is number 137 in our ongoing series. Yes, 137. I've done a bunch of these. And these are called Messages from the Masculine to Inspire the Feminine Heart. That's my direction and focus of my work. So yeah, if you want to watch my previous broadcasts, you can find them on my business page on Facebook, as well as on YouTube. Under my name, which is Barry Selby, on the Messages from the Masculine playlist, and also on my website. If you go to barryselby.com, you can sign up, by the way, for a free 3-part video course on the 3 things to stop you having a perfect relationship. Well, I should say the 3 keys to get their ideal relationship. That's on the landing page. If you go to the video blog, you'll see all of these broadcasts listed there, so you can watch them in replay mode there. If you want to get help, you want to get support, you want more direct love support in terms of coaching, counseling, guidance, where you want to go, and healing the past, message me over social media, or go to my website, go to barryselby.com, and click on the Let's Chat button and set up an appointment. I'd love to support you. So if this has been of value to you, or you think other people need to see this, please share this out with them as well. This is part of my daily broadcast, but this one is a deeper conversation because it's a deeper topic. And again, if you just join me, please go back and watch from the beginning. I see a bunch of people joining in now, and I'm signing off. So please go back and watch from the beginning. There's some value in this. I hope this has been of inspiration for you. And again, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below, and I'll respond when I sign off. Yeah, you can definitely, I can say this, we can definitely raise the conversation up to a higher level. And self-love, self-support, self-appreciation is one of the keys that I recommend you take on now. So again, if you want to reach out for support, message me. I appreciate you. You're welcome, Bonnie. Thanks for interacting in the broadcast, and I feel you. And I'm glad you're getting through this in a powerful way, and you're getting some good healing on the way. And again, anybody else wants help, please reach out to me. I'm back again tomorrow for number 138. These are daily Facebook Lives. Yes, I've been doing these daily for about 4 months now. Lots of stuff to talk about. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. All right? Take care. Bye.